For donations, I ask that you donate $1 per video. Thank you. Princess Veronica Dreiser and her sister Luna Dreiser struggled against their bonds, but to no avail. Ash simply checked on them from time to time as he had a drink with Darius at Harken's table, while they waited for Harken to return with Herric. Darius was in no mood, however, and was making disgruntled noises as ever. Darius moaned. What? Ash asked. What are you mad about? Luna's a trip, he murmured. Ash sat back a bit and leaned on one arm. She's really in your head now, is she? She's pretty, Darius shrugged. What about you? What about me? Ash asked, somewhat startled. Do you fancy the princess, Ash? Darius smiled coyly. No, Ash said sort of dumbly. She's our captive, and that is all. Each of them had their hoods up, drinking and not laughing. They were tired somehow, and to put it mildly, they each felt bad about taking the women. Should we check on them? Ash finally asked. Darius shook his head. Okay, Ash said, slouching. What do you want to do? Guard them? Yes, Darius said. What else should we be doing here? Ash shrugged. I guess I don't know. You guess you don't know. Darius laughed. Okay, come back to me on that one. A few hours passed, and the day went on, each of them sitting there, nearly falling asleep. Harken had yet to return. Where's Harken? Ash finally asked. Darius shrugged. He's bringing Herric. What's taking them so long? Ash asked. They're not that far away. I don't. But as Darius spoke, Herric and Harken entered Harken's wares, Herric's daunting figure looming over them. Were there any customers? Harken asked. No, Ash said, fortunately. Good, that means the sign worked. I put up a closed sign before I left. At least like you, Ash, the people of Lorne know how to read. I'm hardly any good, Ash replied, but I'm getting there. Indeed you are, Harken replied. Herric, hooded and daunting, held up a hand. Where are the two women? In the back, Darius said. We shall wait here until dark, he said. It won't be much longer. Take me to them. Harken took Herric to the back to check on the two women while Ash and Darius sat waiting, drinking still. They were nearly drunk, actually, something Harken had neglected to notice, as they had hidden it from him well. Ash supposed he should stop, as he set down his last drink of the day. Darius looked at him dumbfounded and picked it up to take a drink. More for me, he muttered, obviously unhappy. It was but a few moments before Herric and Harken walked back to the front of the store by Ash and Darius and took two chairs to sit with them. Herric opened his mouth to congratulate them on the completed contract and handed them each a bag of coin, which Ash placed on the table. Thank you, Herric continued. You've done a fine job today. We should be so lucky to have more men like you soon coming. Damn right, Darius raised his glass, while Harken gave him a look of disapproval, though Ash was obviously somewhat drunk too. How many will join? Ash asked, somewhat sober. Probably 1,000, or sounding sober. Probably 1,000, Harken interjected. Herric nodded. Our numbers are not dwindling as some would propose. Who proposes that? Darius asked. Our enemies, the royal palace, and their puppets, Herric spat. Who are these puppets? Ash asked. Mostly wealthy men of the city. This place has become corrupted over the years, at least since I was growing up it has. Ash nodded. At least our economy is doing well. The stores, shops, markets, and other businesses thrive. All on the back of a beast called greed, Herric replied. Frankly, I do not wish to see the city burn, but it cannot continue to enlist indentured servants and slaves alike. That was something Ash had paid attention to as well in the past, and in fact his wife had an indentured servant when she was a child who took care of she and her siblings. Nonetheless, Ash had grown up too poor, neither slave nor servant, fortunately, but poor nonetheless. Herric knew this about him, and so perhaps that is why Herric had chosen Ash to complete this contract, as he knew he would be motivated to do so well. Some of the money at least comes from foreign trade, Ash said. And plenty of foreign merchants hold slaves and servants, Herric retorted. This world is a cruel one as of late, and we need to put an end to it. Ash nodded. The two women aren't to be hurt. No, Herric reassured him. That is against their code to hurt innocents, though those two aren't exactly quite innocent. Nonetheless, they've hardly done anything as terrible as their father. Ash nodded. That king has left the poor to rot, Ash said with some conviction. I'll gladly have his head. It won't be you to hunt the man, Herric said. We have other men at the ready on that point. You two simply need to transport the princess and her sister back to the guild. We'll even come with you since you couldn't do it this morning. Ash nodded. It shouldn't be too hard. No, Herric said. The hardest part is already done. In fact, we have a wagon with horse waiting outside where we'll put them. Ash nodded. Even easier. Darius had fallen fast asleep. Herric looked at him. He'll awaken before nightfall. Ash nodded, his drink wearing off of him finally. Nightfall soon approached, and Harken and Herric seemed ready to leave. Ash and Darius as well. Preparing, they went to the back to grab the princess and her sister, but when they reached the bag, they found no one, and their ties were cut. Herric yelled something, and they noted that they had set out on foot out the back door, which remained open. In fact, Ash could see them running now. Hurriedly, he chased after them in hopes to bring them back.